potential free kicks, but nevertheless, there was one or two complaints, but Wrexham and Chelsea both happy to go and continue. Here with Doyle once more. So much composure from Doyle when he's nearly picked out Lewis O'Brien, making an underlapping run just the wrong side of where Mamadou Sarr went advancing forward, and Wrexham do a from over on that left-hand flank. 35 minutes played. This game has gone so fast, so fast. The ball's barely been out of play, and this so favours Wrexham. The more and more this clock ticks down, that desperation creeps in for Liam Rosinia. He's going to be forced into changes. The likes of João Pedro, Reece James, they're going to have to come on, because as it stands, Wrexham are just turning over Chelsea. There's a lovely little switch of play there by Rathbone once more in towards Thomason. O'Brien trying to hold up the field of play. Sarr's just pushed him to the ground. There's going to be a free kick for Wrexham, ready to trying to get play quickly. Doyle wanted to get moving quickly, but Wrexham, I think, are quite happy just to slow down for a second. We're back here with Doyle on the halfway line, and Wrexham can regroup. Tend to play them of what has been an exhilaratingly quick first half, which sees Wrexham 1, Chelsea 0. We've been talking about whether or not we'll have a cup upset in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Mansfield couldn't quite do the job against Arsenal. They lost 2-1 there, and Wolves can do the job against Liverpool. They lost 3-1 despite beating them in the Premier League midweek. 2-1 victory at Molineux, and then the fixture yesterday evening losing 3-1 to Arne Slot's side. Here at the racecourse, though, Wrexham are getting the job done against Chelsea. There's still 55 minutes of football still to be played, though. Still a long way to go. Viner, little underlapping ball towards where Longman can make a run in behind on Jarell Hatto, but the Dutchman does really, really well there, tracking it all the way, rolling it back towards Robert Sanchez, and Chelsea can regroup here with Mamadou Sarr in the middle of the park. What Chelsea are lacking at the moment is energy in their play and where they are playing with the ball, because all the possession they're having is inside their defensive third and their midfield third. Tosin Adarabioyo is making that be clear now. He's screaming towards Andre Santos because his first touch is backwards, looking for his centre half, which is all well and good, but when you're 1-0 down and you need a goal, you need to create some chances, you need a corner, a set piece, anything at all. Stop playing it inside of your defensive third. You've got to get this ball forward. Easier said than done, of course, because of how Wrexham are set up in their 5-4-1. But it's not like they're sat 40 yards from their goal line. They're taking the game to Chelsea. Everybody is inside of Chelsea's half virtually at this point. Robert Sanchez has it inside of his own 18-yard box, but they're virtually going man for man, and they're beating them man for man. Here is Badiashile. Hey, if you're Luis Enrique and PSG, you're loving watching this, particularly with Pedro Neto giving the ball away in the middle of the park. Now it's Rathbone trying to play it towards where Doyle is. Doyle advanced forward here. Callum Doyle trying to get the strike away and winning the corner. And this is a standout performance here by Callum Doyle. I mean, the more and more this game goes on, the more and more he continues. There was an opportunity to potentially play it in towards where Smith was. He was looking for that ball and towards that right foot of his. Doyle instead cut inside, tried to bend it in towards that top left corner. Tosin Adarabioyo eventually got the block in, but it does result in another Wrexham corner from the reverse side, this time towards the opposite side of where all the dugouts are based, at the far left corner. Opposite side towards them, Chelsea away supporters, right in front of them, home fans. Dobson has come over to take this one. It's going to be the in-swing and delivery. Doyle is in there, as is Viner, as Hein just making his presence be known against Benoit Badiashile. Dobson's ball in towards that penalty area, away though by Jarell Hatto. Some good clearance on the clearance as well, on the distance as well. Thompson whips one back in towards that penalty area. Garnacho can pick up this loose ball back towards Robert Sanchez. Chelsea can regroup. What I was trying to say is Jarell Hatto headed the ball away well. Here with Tosin Adarabioyo on the edge of his own penalty area. Santos in towards Joshua Achimpong once again on the halfway line. But again, this is what I'm talking about with Chelsea's pace of play. It's just so slow at the moment. Needs to be that far bit quicker. Lavia in towards Pedro Neto, who's been the only guy in blue colours looking to try and play this ball forward. Sarr's taking a real risk there, just trying to keep possession. He does so. Here is Pedro Neto, switch it out towards this left-hand side with Alejandro Garnacho. Needs to hook this one in towards that far post. They're queuing up there at the far post. Garnacho couldn't quite do so. Badiashile back towards Tosin Adarabioyo in the centre of the park. This is good by Chelsea. Mamadou Sarr once again here with Romeo Lavia looking towards his right-hand side with Pedro Neto, who's got Joshua Achimpong towards his right shoulder. Uses him, plays him in towards a nice bit of space, trying to cut it back towards Andre Santos. Cleared away though by Doyle. O'Brien trying to play this ball down the line towards Sam Smith, towards no one at all. Here is Benoit Buddy Shield again. Rathbone can sense the danger. He's trying to usher his side up the pitch because Chelsea, I mean, we've only got 6 minutes or so to go of this second half. They're ending it on a positive note. Liam Rosinia would be absolutely desperate for his side to try and get themselves on the score sheet, particularly now in the circumstances that he finds himself in. But when Benoit Badiashile plays it back towards Robert Sanchez, all it does is invite Wrexham all the way up the pitch. And now their back five is virtually on the halfway line. Their midfield four are putting pressure on Chelsea's midfield, and Sam Smith is just standing in passing lanes to make sure Chelsea don't have a simple ball out, and all they've got is little bounce passes between Robert Sanchez, Romeo Lavia, Tosin and Badiashile, and Pedro Neto's had to come so deep to pick up the ball, and this time he goes back towards Robert Sanchez. There's probably about 5-6 passes in a row where it's just gone bounce pass back towards Robert Sanchez. Here is Delap now, desperately trying to move Chelsea forward here, and Delap has done brilliantly, fending off the oncoming challenges. Delap over towards Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho now for Chelsea. Garnacho's effort off the line, and it's in instead. It's taken a little deflection in the end off of Okinkwo. It's an own goal. Chelsea won't care. It's misfortune for Wrexham, but it's delight for Liam Rosinia and his side. I mean, it's a huge, huge stroke of fortune, because just over there on the goal line, I think it was Thomason that actually cleared it off the line. And as he's kicked it out, it's come off the back of Okinkwo and deflected in. It all came from a ball from Robert Sanchez, but Liam Delap makes this goal. His hold-up play on the halfway line, fending off the incoming challenges from Jaime, just shrugs him off, then comes marching forward, picks out Alejandro Garnacho inside of the 18-yard box, cuts inside, and just a little arcing effort in towards that bottom right corner. And Okinkwo, who did really, he tried his absolute best, didn't he? Thompson makes the clearance on the line, but it comes off of, I think it's the back of Okinkwo's shoulder. He's so unlucky. It's so unlucky. Garnacho does well. He's put it past Okinkwo, and yeah, it's just off the back of Okinkwo's back. Thomason can't believe it. Rosinia, muted celebration there from the Chelsea gaffer. It's not the prettiest of goals, but it still put them 1-1. I was saying they're having a really good spell there, were Chelsea, and they've been able to reward themselves with a very fortunate goal. Here is Mamadou Sarr now over on this right-hand side. Achimpong does take over. Chelsea, them away fans, finally able to make some noise against this noisy racecourse ground. Here is Badiashile. Alejandro Garnacho once again on that left-hand side, denied just on the goal line by a goal, but his side did take that chance in the end and get themselves an equalizer in this contest. Here is Mamadou Sarr now in towards Andre Santos. Ball played in towards Pedro Neto. Poor touch though there by the Portuguese. Lavia can take over. He's got Achimpong towards his right hand side. Here is Joshua Achimpong now trying to drive towards the byline. Pedro Neto does take over. Neto chipping one in towards that far post Portuguese, but way too much on it, and it is going to be a Wrexham goal kick. So 42 minutes played, 3 minutes still to go of normal time. I anticipate maybe 1 or 2 minutes of stoppage time. 1-1 so far. Sam Smith opened up the scoring in the opening 20 minutes of this game. Long ball played over the top by Callum Doyle. Real mix-up at the back with Chelsea, and it's a lovely finish by Sam Smith in towards that near bottom left corner, which gave Wrexham the advantage. And as you just heard just moments ago, Alejandro Garnacho cut inside on that right foot of his, tried to guide it in towards the bottom right corner. Thomason went to clear and came off the back of Okinkwo and into the back of the net in the end. Here is Andre Santos now in towards Tosin Adarabioyo. Pedro Neto now taking over. Tosin Adarabioyo once again on the edge of his own penalty area. The Chelsea skipper trying to advance forward here. Again, this is what I mean about how there's been very little between the two sides. Both of these sides having 2 attempts on goal. Both of these sides having 1 attempt on target. And hey, really, I mean, Garnacho, the shot was on target. It's not his goal. However, it came from the shot on target, which makes it 1-1. It's Achimpong wrestling over here on that left-hand side with Thomason. Thomason does really well, just fending off the incoming challenges from the youngster and putting that one into touch. Here is Pedro Neto now, playing it back towards where Hato can roll it into Tosin Adarabioyo. And Romeo Lavia can take over. Badiashile on this far left-hand side. 90 seconds to go of normal time. Garnacho again racing up against Longman as Rathbone comes over to go and give him some support. Garnacho playing one in towards the middle of the park with Romeo Lavia. Wrexham looking to just try and get to half-time now. Sarr trying to roll this one down the line. It's a poor ball by Mamadou Sarr. And Okinkwo can regroup for Wrexham. Needs to be better there from Sarr. Needs to pick out a guy in blue because he's tried to play it's a simple 15-20 yard ball and he's got nowhere near the pass into Pedro Neto. Saw his intentions, but just to no avail. Tosin Adarabioyo with the initial header in the middle of the park. Here is Adarabioyo once again bringing it down very, very nicely on his chest. He can roll it back towards Robert Sanchez in goal. I'd love to be a fly in the wall in both of the dressing rooms because Phil Parkinson has got to be delighted with how his side have taken their approach into this game, just from a complete set of misfortune that they find themselves level. Was Badiashile trying to chip one over the top here towards the oncoming run of Joel Hatto. Jaime is there to go and intervene. Rathbone trying to bring this one down. Garnacho does take over. Here is Romeo Lavia once more. Andre Santos, lovely turn in the middle of the park. Switch up out towards Pedro Neto. The Portuguese advancing forward here. 35 yards from goal. Wrexham having to sit deep now. Here is Pedro Neto. There's options towards that far post. Neto opts out of the cross at the first attempt. In towards Ashimpong now. He does put it in towards that near post. Doyle with a bit of a skewed clearance. And Chelsea have their first quarter of the game at the dying embers of this first half. Like I'm saying, if you want to be a fly in the wall in Liam Rosinia's dressing room, he'll want more from his side. They have not been up to standard today. They find themselves in a lucky position to still be level. Eyes towards the fourth official as well with how much stoppage time at the conclusion of this first half. Resulting corner though will come in towards that penalty area. It's going to be 3 more minutes of stoppage time. In towards that box is cleared away at the first attempt. Here is Alejandro Garnacho still on the edge of the Wrexham penalty area, looking to try and whip this ball back in towards that box is Pedro Neto. Nice little bit of feet there by Neto. Here is Garnacho cutting inside that right foot of his. Garnacho with the strike. Santos now trying to chip one over the top towards the oncoming run there of Joshua Ashington. There was complaints for offside. Viner didn't know, had to put it behind for another corner, and Chelsea ending this second half very, very positively. I mean, it's taken them 40 minutes to really get themselves into this contest. They finally found themselves in the right places now. Again, it's going to be Neto to whip this ball in towards that penalty area. Chipped in towards that far post. Okinkwo gets there, trying to fall towards where Lavia is, and it's Hatto with the strike. Good block in there though, and Wrexham potentially with a counter-attack now, trying to chip one over the top towards Dobson. Hatto is there to go and meet it. Oh, lovely ball there by Joel Hatto, and now Liam Delap can move forward here with some real pace. Delap trying to cut inside, but it's some good defensive play in the middle of the park. Lavia can pick up the loose ball, and eventually Chelsea can regroup. It was Sam Smith with a little interception on Liam Delap, which just puzzled things for a moment. Here is Mamadou Sarr once again. Pedro Neto now taking over. 90 seconds to go on the clock before we head into half-time. Tosin Adarabioyo once again on the halfway line, in towards Romeo Lavia. Tosin once more, trying to play a reversal ball, and he's picked up Pedro Neto. Here is Hatto. Oh, he just forced it. Just forced it. The Joel Hatto didn't really need to be totally honest with you. And now Wrexham forming a counter-attack of their own. Here is Lewis O'Brien. Brought down, nearly was brought down by Romeo Lavia, and this time he was brought down by Joshua Ashimpong. The referee disagreeing with the first initial challenge from Romeo Lavia that O'Brien felt was a foul. The second one from Ashimpong he deemed was worthy. Well, a thoroughly exhilarating end to this second half, to this first half, sorry, and we've still got a few more seconds to go and a potential for Wrexham to swing one in towards that penalty area. They're on the halfway line now. They're going to pump this ball in towards the mixer. Chelsea are playing quite a high line, a little bit of a brave move by Liam Rosinia's side. O'Brien making a little run towards this left-hand side, opting out of that pass towards the forward. Chips over the top here towards the far post, met there by Klebworth, as Andre Santos can take this ball away, and Chelsea with numbers over if they can get their cards right here, as Garnacho trying to get himself in behind Santos with a really poor ball. If that was a better pass by Andre Santos on his weaker right foot, Alejandro Garnacho would have been away, and that could have been and penalties as well. Wrexham then to kick us off in this second half, going from right to left. Peter Banks is just scheduling his watch. We are underway then for the second half of the FA Cup of the fifth round between Wrexham and Chelsea. Wrexham getting us underway as Doyle pumps this ball along straight in towards the feet of Robert Sanchez. Chelsea attacking towards the opposite side of where their away fans are based. Wrexham attacking towards their faithful behind Robert Sanchez's goal. The Spaniard just retaining possession on the edge of his own penalty area here with Benoit Badiashile. No changes to report to you at half time as Chelsea regrouping with a throw over on that left hand side. Just joining us, listening to live audio coverage of Wrexham versus Chelsea in the fifth round of the FA Cup. Second half here. 1-1 at half time. Goals from Sam Smith and an own goal from Okonkwo. Very unfortunate for the man in goal. Here is Badiashile then back towards Robert Sanchez. Taking a few too many steps there was Sanchez. Just putting Tosin Adarabioyo under a little bit of pressure. Mamadou Sarr, heavy touch, and Lewis O'Brien is over there to go and nip in and send that one out for another Chelsea throw on over on this far right hand side as opposed towards the left hand side. Here is Mamadou Sarr then ready to get play back resumed for Chelsea. They're just taking their time over this one. Chelsea. It's been a bit of a slow start towards this second half. Here is Andre Santos. Mamadou Sarr once again trying to play his ball in towards Santos. Is successful. Tosin Adarabioyo taking over and Benoit Badiashile can roll it back towards Robert Sanchez on the edge of his own 6-yard box. The Spaniard. Wrexham quite happy to sit in with their shape. Just something to note as well, Rathbone is just advancing a little bit further forward to what O'Brien is. Poor ball there though by Tosin Adarabioyo, and able to nip in is Doyle, playing it in towards O'Brien. Feels he has been fouled, not being given by Peter Banks, and Doyle was miles out of position. If Joshua Ashimpong can go driving in towards that space. Here is Santos now, Pedro Neto taking over, fending off the incoming challenges from them red and white shirts, and Tosin Adarabioyo, who gave away possession earlier, who can regroup here with that ball down the middle of the park towards Alejandro Garnacho, the Argentinian, giving it away quite cheaply though, and Robert Sanchez can take over. So again, Wrexham, similar kind of approach, but just to note that Oliver Rathbone is playing a little bit higher towards his counterpart on that left hand side. O'Brien's just been forced to sit a little bit more deeper than potentially he would like, but Oliver Rathbone is advancing further forward here, and he's trying to exploit this gap that Tosin Adarabioyo and Mamadou Sarr are creating a little bit. Because how Tosin is just naturally coming over towards this right-hand side, Benoit Badiashile drifting out left, there's a huge gap that I think Rathbone is seeing, and he potentially could go and exploit it, because the gap between Tosin and Mamadou Sarr is far smaller than the gap between Tosin and Benoit Badiashile. Cross comes in towards that right hand on that left-hand side. Hato deflects it behind, and we've got our first corner of the second half for the home side. It's going to be O'Brien too. Whip this ball in towards that penalty area. In swinging delivery for Lewis O'Brien. As Doyle makes his way forward, so does Hyman Viner. As Dobson making his presence be known at the far post. Delap just trying to get himself close towards Callum Doyle. Sam Smith has just backed off. It's a 5-man Wrexham train trying to advance in towards that penalty area. Good header away though from the ball that was floated in by João Hato. The resulting ball is back in towards that penalty area, and it's an easy one in the end for Robert Sanchez to see that one go over the top of the bar. Max Clearworth trying to knock that one in. It was a poor ball, to be honest. I don't really understand Wrexham set pieces at the moment, because Chelsea have looked vulnerable to set pieces in their recent fixtures. I mean, look at the success that Arsenal had. Both their goals came from set pieces in their 2-1 victory over Chelsea, and their main tactic was pinning everybody inside of the 6-yard box, and Wrexham are trying to make darting runs in there. The ball's flat from Lewis O'Brien. It was a simple header away by João Hato, and then the resulting ball that goes back in towards that penalty area is flat again as well. Nevertheless, Wrexham still marching forward over on this left-hand side with Thomason. Back towards O'Brien, screwing for the ball at the far post is Longman. Not going to go towards him at the first attempt. Does though at the second. Here with Dobson, over towards Longman now, trying to take on Benoit Badiashile. Back towards where Clearworth can put his ball towards the penalty area. Smith with the chance, and wasn't the best of efforts in the end. It was O'Brien that just beat Smith towards it, trying to guide it towards that bottom right corner, and he didn't really make any kind of proper contact on it. Tosin Adarabioyo, again, he needs to be a little bit tighter there. It was a simple one in the end for Robert Sanchez. Chelsea regrouping inside of their own half. Back here with Mamadou Sarr. Tosin Adarabioyo taking over again on the edge of his own penalty area. Robert Sanchez intervening. The pace of play, though, from Liam Rosenior's side is really, really slow. There's a lot of pedestrian movement as Sanchez pumping this ball forward towards Delap, who's the only one that's trying to make any kind of run. And Delap's done really, really well there. He's trying to create a chance for himself. Back towards Ashimpong. Here is Pedro Neto now. In towards Ashimpong. Good chances for Chelsea. Ashimpong with the strike. Blocked away. Only as far as Lavia. Picking up the loose ball. It's a great opportunity there for Joshua Ashimpong, but it was brave defending by Haim. Here is Hato now. Garnacho trying to cut inside on that right foot of his. Back towards Romeo Lavia. Chance here for Lavia to whip one in towards the penalty area, and he's got it all wrong there, the former Southampton man. Neither cross or shot. Trying to guide it in towards that far post, and it's gone all the way in behind for an Okinquo goal kick, but it was some nice play on that right-hand side. Joshua Ashimpong cutting inside on his weaker left foot, trying to guide it in towards the bottom, the top left corner, but it was Dominic Haim that just got his head in the way. Some brave defending and some excellent defensive work in the end. Okinquo can get us back resumed with the goal kick. 6 minutes played of this second half. Still Wrexham 1, Chelsea 1, and both these sides starting the second half on a rather positive note. And, I suppose that's a fair reflection of the first half as well, both of them having positive spells. Chelsea towards the back end of the second half, Wrexham particularly throughout several moments of the first half. Mamadou Sarr was a clever little bit of player on that right hand side, but he has let the ball go into touch, and the Cambry group will throw on back to Tosin Adarabioyo, and Robert Sanchez can take over. Sam Smith just came in there on Mamadou Sarr, and rather than let him get the interception, he just bided, just waited, a little flick past Sam Smith. It was a little bit risky, potentially didn't need to do it, but nevertheless he was able to keep possession for his side. Here is Ashimpong back towards Mamadou Sarr once again. Chelsea keeping possession nicely, but again on the edge of their own 6-yard box. Interesting to see what Phil Parkinson and Liam Rosenior has said at half-time. For me, I think Rosenior would have said move the ball a little bit more quicker, get that ball further up the field of play as well. And for Wrexham, I think it would have just been more of the same. Ball's gone into touch over here on this left-hand side. Jarrell Hatter was adamant that it was his ball. The linesman had a better view than all of us, and he deemed it was a Wrexham throw-on. Already back in play here with Callum Doyle in the middle of the park. Little turn there by George Dobson, who's been keen to get himself on the ball throughout periods of this game. Flicked over the top towards Sam Smith. Lewis O'Brien can go and give chase. Robert Sanchez in towards Jarrell Hato, and Chelsea already back in possession quite nicely. Nice little bit of interplay there. Robert Sanchez, the architect of it as well. Mamadou Sarr not wanting to take any kind of risk. Here is Robert Sanchez once more inside of his own penalty area. The Spaniard just taking his time over this one. Pedro Neto has had to come so deep to try and get himself on the ball. Here is Santos looking to try and turn. The Brazilian turning quite nicely in the middle of the park, driving forward with some real pace here. Mamadou Sarr now taking over. There's a ball down the line towards where Ashimpong is. Ball played infield to Andre Santos. He's gone first time to Pedro Neto, but the Portuguese had already spun him behind. The Brazilian and the Portuguese not quite on the same wavelength. And Callum Doyle, Cambry group here for Wrexham. Once again, over on this far left-hand side, Doyle, reverse the ball. Smith tries to hold up the field of play. Tosin Adarabioyo gets a nick in. Here is Liam Delap now, trying to drive forward. Poor touch, though, by Liam Delap, and there was an opportunity for Dominic Haim to go and get the interception. And get the interception he did. Key one, you'd have to say, for the Wrexham number 5 in the heart of the defence, who's having a tricky afternoon against Liam Delap. But you've got to say the 30-year-old Scotsman is doing a half-decent job indeed. Here is Haim once more, trying to advance this ball further forward. He's taking over is Viner, and Cleworth back towards Viner once more on the halfway line. Wrexham enjoying quite a nice spell of possession here, and there is the commentator's curse because O'Brien's giving it away towards Andre Santos, and then Alejandro Garnacho can drive forward here. Chelsea getting numbers forward here with the Argentinian Garnacho with the strike, and it's just wide of the post. It was good play there by Chelsea. Real counter-attacking move. Garnacho with one thought in his mind, just trying to go marching forward. Delap with a nice little turn, played it in towards where Alejandro Garnacho is. He just took on Dominic Haim 1v1. He didn't really have a look up for options inside of the penalty area. Rolled it on towards that left foot, tried to drill it in towards the bottom right corner, to no avail in the end for the Argentinian. And to my surprise, well, I tell you what, this is what I mean with the risk that Liam Rosenior is taking. He's got the likes of João Pedro on the bench to potentially bring on. I mean, Reece James, a bit more of a defensive option, but we know what he has with his attacking capabilities potentially. And I mean, he's left Cole Palmer out because, of course, he doesn't like to play Cole Palmer in 3 games in a row. But Mark Guiu is the first substitution for Chelsea. Delap's just been fouled on the halfway line. I'd be shocked if he makes way if Liam Delap departs the field of play. There must be some kind of change of shape, change of system. They can't take off Liam Delap, surely, Liam Rosina, because he's been one of Chelsea's brightest sparks up top. He made the goal. Garnacho rolling him in behind. Eventually, he took a little ricochet for the own goal. But he's been one of the best players in blue so far today, really causing Dominic Haim some pressure. Here is Romeo Lavia now on the halfway line. Pressure in front of him from George Dobson. Romeo Lavia does well to fend him off. Pedro Neto's got a nice bit of green space to go and drive into. Neto in towards where Joshua Achimpong runs this ball down towards the byline. Poor touch though by Joshua Achimpong, inviting pressure over by Thomason. And O'Brien can pop it along towards where Sam Smith can go and give chase, but Tosin Adarabioyo is there to intervene. Here is Benoit Badiashile. Mamadou Sarr once again down the line towards Pedro Neto, as again Thomason goes steaming in on the Portuguese. They always leave a little foot in, and don't mind it, particularly here in this crucial cup tie. Just unsettle Chelsea a little bit, unnerve them, because they're so used to keeping possession. That's what they're doing at the moment here with Benoit Badiashile and Mamadou Sarr, Tosin Adarabioyo. That when that ball is played long, make sure that whoever gets himself in possession, make sure he knows that if he's going to try and turn, he's going to have someone up behind him. Here is Sarr, back towards Pedro Neto, little bounce pass between the two of them. Tosin does take over just on the halfway line, and Benoit Badiashile is forced backwards towards Robert Sanchez. He goes first time long towards Alejandro Garnacho, thumping ball over towards the Argentinian. Garnacho with a big arse to try and keep that one in play. Longman sees that one out, and it is going to be a Wrexham throw on over towards this far right hand side inside of their defensive third. So first substitution of the game, and it is definitely going to be change of shape. Mamadou Sarr's day is over. He's going to be replaced by Mark Guiu, who immediately goes up top. So I imagine Chelsea are going to be going 2 up top now, which, again, Liam Rosina experimenting with his tactics. And, well, the players have immediately got the word with it, because he's screamed over, saw Liam Rosina's lips say Pedro, obviously calling over Pedro Neto and shouting towards what looked like was a 4-4-2. And wanting him to do a job. Mark Guiu was so much deeper than they expected. Nevertheless, still marching forward here is O'Brien. Tosin Adarabioyo goes steaming in on him, and the Chelsea skipper could potentially be picking up a yellow card here. Tosin Adarabioyo saying he got the ball. Peter Banks drawing up for the foul. O'Brien did well there, to be honest. I mean, he had a case there, Lewis O'Brien, and he had a strong one as well. Tosin Adarabioyo went in, he didn't make the ball. He goes thumping in towards Lewis O'Brien, and which resulted in a free kick for Wrexham to sling that one in towards the penalty area. And it's a good opportunity as well. Dobson standing over this one. Callum Doyle has advanced forward. Just towards that far post is where Dominic Haim is making his presence be known. Clayworth is there as well. So the back three of Wrexham all trying to get their bodies in a position to potentially cause some havoc. George Dobson then, it's about 35-40 yards from that Chelsea goal. And they've got no one towards the far post. Dominic Haim has got a free run here. If they can pick out the Scotsman, this could cause some real problems. Ball over the top, and here is Dominic Haim taking it down on his instep, back towards that far post, and it's a decent little effort from O'Brien, getting all messy inside of the penalty area. Doyle trying to keep it alive, trying to flick it off of where Joshua Achimpong came steaming in. Eventually, Wrexham trying to keep it alive towards the far post with Longman, but it does go into touch. But that was so obvious. It was unbelievable that Dominic Haim was going to get on the ball. I can't believe Chelsea, they're all marking towards the near. Haim is in acres of space at the far post. The ball's gone towards him, and that could have gone absolutely anywhere. For Chelsea's sake, it didn't go to any red shirts or cause any more kind of problems. Here is Joshua Achimpong, and I'm just trying to confirm what kind of shape they have moved into. The flag has gone up. Chelsea resetting with a free kick. Benoit Badiashile and Tosin Adarabioyo just trying to regroup here, but again a mistake on the edge of the penalty area. There is Viner with the strike. Good block though by Benoit Badiashile. Here is George Dobson picking up the loose ball, playing this one down the heart of the pitch towards Viner. Tosin with a slash clearance, and that one goes into touch, and the Wrexham faithful are starting to get ahead of steam. It was all a mix up at the back between Tosin Adarabioyo, Benoit Badiashile Shield and Robert Sanchez. Over towards this left-hand side with Thomason. Driving down towards the byline. Skipping past Joshua Achimpong, but he gets a good little block in. But again, out for a Wrexham corner over towards that left-hand side. So we'll confirm with you the change of shape with Chelsea in just a moment, but they've got more defensive work to do. An hour played, still Wrexham 1, Chelsea 1. Wrexham getting a nice spell of momentum, and George Dobson is trying to get them home supporters making even more noise. Their fourth corner of the game, Wrexham. It's going to be the in-swing and delivery of Dobson, who's over basically all of the set pieces for the home side. Already making their presence be known again is Heim, Doyle and Cleworth. I want to see a little bit something different here from Wrexham, and to potentially be the undoing of Chelsea. Dobson's ball in towards that penalty area. Cleared away though by Tosin Adarabioyo. Shot comes steaming in from Longman, all the way back towards where Dobson is, and he's going to let that run out of play again for a Wrexham corner. It needs a bit more height. The pace is good on the ball. It just needs some more height on it. And because at the minute, Chelsea are getting everything out at the near post. And it's simple in the end at the minute for Chelsea. Need some more height on these deliveries. Dobson's ball again in towards that near post, headed away by Garnacho, only as far as where Rapone tries to get in the strike. They're convinced it's handball on Wrexham. Cleared just for a moment. VAR will be checking this one, and there's a slip there now. Garnacho going steaming forward. Longman has slipped. Garnacho now on that left-hand side. It's 4v3 just for a moment. Garnacho trying to put this ball in towards that penalty area. Longman forcing him back. The Argentinian doing well to hold up the field of play. There's Garnacho back towards Hato. VAR still checking this potential handball. Here is Benoit Badiashile. Eyes towards where Peter Banks is. There's whistles around the ground as well, feeling that potentially could be a penalty kick. I don't think it's going to be given. Again, VAR still checking. It's so hard to tell. Here is Tosin Adarabioyo then on the halfway line. Achimpong down the line towards Pedro Neto. Andre Santos able to cut inside. The Brazilian in towards Romeo Lavia as he's got Guiu and Liam Delap for options. Hato now on towards this left-hand side. Back here with Alejandro Garnacho trying to whip this ball towards that penalty area. Back towards Lavia once more. 25-30 yards from goal. Achimpong lets it run across his body. Here is Pedro Neto once again on this far right-hand side, trying to find a way past Thomason, who's keen to try and stay close towards Pedro Neto. Neto gets the shot off. Dobson with the block. Neto once more. Here is Joao Hato in towards Alejandro Garnacho. This could go anywhere for Chelsea. Garnacho, lovely ball in towards Hato. Forced away though by Cleworth. Looking to try and find a corner here is Joao Hato. Oh, a lovely piece of skill. Hato now towards the byline. Pedro Neto taking over inside of the 18-yard box. They've got to find room for the strike. Hato's effort. Oh, it's just wide of the post. What a lovely piece of play there by Joao Hato. Little Croydon through Cleworth's legs, played it in towards where Pedro Neto was. Tricky little bit of feet there by the former Wolves man. Back towards Joao Hato, who deserved the goal, to be honest, with how he kept the play alive. And it's just the wrong side of the post. He was in an offside position, actually. It wouldn't have stood. But I tell you what a lovely little move there by Joao Hato. Again, VAR will still be checking that potential handball. We've got to see it again. I think it's all been cleared now. It was a shot that came in from Rathbone, and it hits Mark Gee. Oh, they've got a case. They've got a strong case. But our VAR, Paul Howard, already dismissing it. I mean, it hits Gee's chest and then his arm, and his arm is somewhat out. Oh, I tell you what, if you're a Wrexham fan, it's a maybe. It's a very, very strong maybe as well. Tosin Adarabioyo now on the halfway line. Down the throat of the pitch towards Mark Guiu, trying to hold up the field of play. Spaniard going in quite strongly there on Smith. Smith feels he has been fouled. Referee not interested. Chips over the top here towards where Pedro Neto is trying to advance. But the Portuguese can't quite get hold of that. Now we have a small break in play. And we can all take a breath just for a moment at what has been absolutely exhilarating last 4 or 5 minutes. Chelsea are going to make a couple of changes. There's a Sugo will be coming on for Romeo Lavia. So that's going to be a straight swap in the middle of the park. And Mark Cucurella is also going to be coming on some fresh legs. Joao Hato, who's just had a great little spell. His day is over. So straight swaps there for Liam Rosinia for his side. And that's a strong option over on that left-hand side. You've got to say, though, well, Joao Hato has been playing very, very positively. But Dario Asugo coming on for Romeo Lavia and Mark Cucurella on for Joao Hato. So what that means then, in terms of Chelsea's shape. Of course, it's on that Sanchez in goal. Achimpong is playing right back now. Tosin Adarabioyo, Benoit Badiashile and Mark Cucurella complete the back four. Sugo and Andre Santos are in front of them. Pedro Neto's out on that right-hand side. Garnacho out left. Guiu is basically playing the 10. basically playing that attacking midfield role. He's sitting a little bit deeper than Liam Delap, who is still doing the job of trying to occupy Dominic Hine. There's been no response so far by Phil Parkinson to Liam Rosinia's subs. He's quite happy for his side to carry on as they are. Here is Benoit Badiashile heading that one into touch over on that left-hand side. Over to get play back resumed is Thomason. But we are actually going to see a response now from Phil Parkinson, just waiting for a moment. And we are going to see the introductions of Josh Windass over on that far left-hand side. Sam Smith's day is over. The goal scorer for Wrexham. Memorable moment for Sam Smith. Lovely ball played over the top by Callum Doyle, and a tidy little finish by Sam Smith past Robert Sanchez. Really, really nice goal. His day is over. He's going to be replaced by Kiefer Moore, I believe that is, that has just made his presence be known up top. And that second substitution as well, Oliver Rathbone has come off the field of play over on that right-hand side, and Josh Windass has come on. So a double substitution there for Phil Parkinson's side. Very much an attacking-minded options, as the Welshman of Kiefer Moore is going to be looking to try and throw his presence about. The former Bournemouth man against Tosin and Badiashile, and Josh Windass over on that right-hand side, formerly of Rangers, of course, to try and cause some problems for Wrexham. Here is Badiashile over on that left-hand side, as Robert Sanchez does take over on the edge of Chelsea's penalty area with Tosin. Achimpong back towards Andre Santos. It's a scarce appearance really for Asugo. Oh, it's given away there by Achimpong. O'Brien in towards that penalty area, headed away by Benoit Badiashile. Mark Guiu trying to hold up the field of play. Guiu does well. Achimpong down the line. Neto, poor touch though by Portuguese. Wrexham getting ahead of steam here. O'Brien trying to cut this ball inside. Pedro Neto can only put it into touch. Wrexham having to get play, moving very, very quickly. Here is Dobson. O'Brien once more, holding up quite nicely. Windass trying to find a little bit of space, but he's giving it away though towards Pedro Neto, trying to cut inside that stronger left foot of his. O'Brien is there to go and intervene. Doyle does take over, and Haim can regroup. As I was saying, it's a rare appearance really for Dalio Asugo. Barely been able to get minutes in Chelsea colours. Second he made that move, immediately got an injury, and it's a scarce appearance, you'd have to say, for him. Ball played down the line here towards O'Brien. He's fended off Achimpong, who feels he has been fouled, over in towards the penalty area now, where Windass is trying to arrive. They put it into touch there by Mark Cucurella. It was a lovely little play there on that left-hand side. Cleworth made a really advancing run forward, put it in towards that penalty area, and